You're drowning in ChatGPT prompts. You try to copy and paste dozens of magic prompts from the internet, yet you're not happy with the result ChatGPT or any other LLM is giving you. If this sounds like you need to watch this video until the very end because I promise you, by the end of this video, your approach to prompting will change forever. As a founder of PR and marketing agency, I have compiled this prompting framework myself, and I have consistently used it for all my clients and my own business for any sort of communication. Social media calendars, press releases, email campaigns, you name it, works like magic. The thing is, you don't need to copy and paste somebody else's prompt because chances are that person knows nothing about you or your business. You need to understand the framework and what goes inside a perfect prompt so you can use it time and time again. For you to fully understand the logic behind and how this framework works, I will be sharing a live demo of how I would do a 2-week social media calendar for St. Regis Hotel in downtown Dubai. And at the end of the video, I will share a screenshot with all the components of the framework. So without further ado, let's jump into it. So like I said, to demonstrate this prompting framework technique, we will be using an example of 2-week social media calendar for St. Regis Hotel in downtown Dubai. And at the end of the video, I will share all the steps of this master prompt so you can take a picture of it, you can take a screenshot of it, and you can use it in your future work. So we will start by giving ChatGPT a role. And by the way, when I say ChatGPT, I'm really referring to all the LLMs. They're built in a similar manner, so you choose your own, whether it's Grok, Gemini, Claude, just because ChatGPT is probably the most famous of them, so I'll just say ChatGPT. So we'll start by giving ChatGPT a role. And think of it like this. Who would be the best person to accomplish this task? It could be a profession or any person, dead or alive. So for example, when I'm brainstorming my YouTube strategy, I would ask ChatGPT to act like Paddy Galloway. Or when I'm brainstorming a marketing strategy for a client, I would say, act as if Gary Vee and David Ogilvy are sitting in one room and brainstorming this marketing strategy. So for this example, we will ask ChatGPT to act as a social media manager with 10 plus years of experience. Next step, we have to give ChatGPT a very clear task, and the more detail, the better. It's very important to describe what exactly you want LLM to do, whether it's a social media calendar, like in this case, or a post, or an email campaign. It could be also a guide, a tutorial, a letter, a press release, a blog post. So for this particular example, it's going to be a social media calendar for 2 weeks for Instagram. And I'm just going to copy and paste it to save time, but I want ChatGPT to create a social media calendar for Instagram, and I want a piece of content to be posted every day, whether it's a static post, a reel, a carousel, a series of stories. And here I also included some samples of the content that this hotel will probably post anyways. So that would be cultural content, inspirational content, brands heritage, various food and beverage promotions, location, vibe. And here I also said that I want ChatGPT to add any relevant content pillars for this hotel. It's just good to have this flexibility for an LLM to offer you something else that you might not have thought of in terms of content pillars. You can always remove it if you don't like it. Step number 3 is format and structure. So that basically means in what kind of format you would like ChatGPT to present the output. So that could be a table format, bullet points. If you're writing a press release, that would be an inverted triangle structure. Or if you are using any of the copywriter's formula, you can just mention what kind of copywriter's formula you want ChatGPT to use, and it will already know the structure. I'm not a big fan of copywriters' formulas because I think they just limit your creativity, and shorter captions work probably better than copywriters' formulas, but they do exist. So if you like them, just mention which one you'd like ChatGPT to use. So in this case, I would like my output to be in a table format with following columns: date, type of content, caption, and hashtags for this particular calendar. Next step is tone of voice. You can describe the kind of tone of voice you would like ChatGPT or LLM to use, or you can upload your own branding standards, including copywriting and tone of voice guideline. And I'm not affiliated with this hotel, so I'm just going to assume that St. Regis Hotel would like to use a warm and friendly tone of voice. We are targeting sophisticated travelers. I would like to use British spelling and write in second person. But of course, you can adapt it to your own brand standards and your own brand guidelines as you see fit. Next, we have length and word count. And here is my little trick for you. Don't ask ChatGPT to follow the exact word count. Instead, ask it to write up to a certain number of words. So for example, instead of asking ChatGPT to write 800 words, ask it to write up to 800 words. And here is why. So if you're asking for 800 words, it will write 800 words, but it will prioritize this task over the quality of the output. So you will have that exact number, but towards the end of the copy, it's not going to be as good. If you just say, write up to 800 words, it will probably be slightly shorter, but you will be surprised of how much better the output is going to be. So for our social media calendar, we're going to say that we want the word count to be up to 150 words for each caption. And we also like short captions to be included because I personally think that shorter captions work much better than longer captions. Well, obviously it depends, but we don't mind them. Let's keep short captions as well for this calendar. Step number 6 is input about your business. So if you're working for a well-known global brand, ChatGPT will probably have some information about the business, the location, etc. But obviously, I will always recommend to elaborate on the USPs, etc. And if you're a startup or if you're a small local business, I would suggest to upload all sort of brand guidelines and information about your business, like your target audience, vision, unique selling points, price segment, so whether you're targeting a premium clients or it's a mass market product or service. So for our social media calendar, we will say use your existing knowledge about the brand and location. Next is information about your audience. And here you can mention whether you are targeting your existing clients, let's say with an email campaign, or it's a cold outreach in case you're doing Google ads or any sort of ads and the audience is not familiar with your business. You can include all the information and details about the demographics, whether it's Gen Z, where they live, what they like and what they dislike. So for our social media calendar, we're going to say that our target audience is sophisticated and affluent travelers, high-profile business travelers, and residents of the UAE interested in fine dining and luxury lifestyle. Step 8 is limitations. So here we can mention everything we don't want ChatGPT to use. So for example, we can say do not use Gen Z slang or do not use imperative mood. And for example, if you're writing a press release, you can ask ChatGPT not to use interrogative sentences. And for this particular case, we will say that we don't want to use overused words and expressions, including words like enjoy, unleash, special offer, curated, unique, deal, etc. I find them very overused in hospitality industry. And by the way, if you have a list of overused words or just words that you don't want to use, you can easily upload them into your prompt as well instead of just writing them. Here we also don't want to use jargon and we don't want to use imperative mood. So that would be phrases like imagine this or picture this. So not only I don't like them as a part of any sort of communication, but also I think they're very kind of clear giveaway that something has been written with ChatGPT and we don't want that. Step 9 is call to action and only if it's applicable. So you can say, use call to action to, let's say, visit your website or visit your Facebook page, etc. Or you can simply say, the goal of the campaign is to interest users in our upcoming event, etc. So for a luxury brand like St. Regis, I wouldn't necessarily use a direct call to action. So I would just say, Our goal is to interest and excite potential guests and visitors without a hard sale or direct call to action. And our last step would be references. So we have already uploaded references of the tone of voice and branding guideline. And here we can upload the references of, let's say, a similar social media calendars, maybe from a competitor or from a brand we like, from a different country, etc. Obviously, you have to see what exactly you are doing with ChatGPT. It could be a press release, could be samples of press releases, samples of email campaigns. I won't include any references for this specific example, and we can just assume that ChatGPT will rely on its own knowledge about the hotel and location, and I think now we are ready to see the result. So now we have our 2-week social media calendar, and let's have a look. Static post, reel. Okay, you know what? I don't dislike it. It might require some refinement. It might require some human touch, but 90% of the job is done. So we have the dates, the type of content, captions, and hashtags. And I actually like the ideas ChatGPT picked. We have afternoon tea, sweet spotlight, pool and wellness, room package. Overall, I think it's great. What do you guys think? As promised, I'm sharing the entire framework on the screen now, so feel free to pause this video and take a screenshot, and please use it in your future work. So now that you know my magic prompting technique, I hope you will never ever copy somebody else's prompts ever again, because there's just no need for it. Please follow me for more content like this and give this video a like if you enjoyed it. If you're completely new to AI, watch this video next to understand how to start with AI in 2026, and I see you in the next video.